We are joined by Judge Mondelli on behalf of the Justice Integration Services. Judge, appreciate your patience with us. Know we're running behind schedule, but if you would please introduce who you have with us and begin your budget presentation for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the Budget and Finance Committee. I've been here since 4 o'clock when Judge Binkley started, and I just want to say I have to admire the patience, the perseverance, and the tenacity that you members of this committee have exhibited here today. I salute you. I know it's been a long afternoon, and I've been here with you since 4 o'clock. With me, Ms. Julia Binkley is our office manager for JIS Services. Our director is Ms. Natalie Steers. Now, as I said, I've been here early, and we're the last hearing on the list, and there's a reason JIS, I believe, is at the foot of the list or on the bottom of the list. And that reason is because every one of these agencies, these criminal law involved agencies, public safety agencies that you have heard from this afternoon, every one of them is supported by JIS. We are on the bottom. We support all these people. I have our annual report, the copy of which you all should have received, and we list in that report some of our accomplishments and some of our achievements and some of our goals for the upcoming year. For example, you may be familiar with crime mapping in the criminal court clerk's office. JIS is instrumental in that. You may be familiar with the criminal court clerk's recent announcement of mobile criminal court clerk's website. JIS is instrumental in that. We have done a number of improvements with every one of these agencies that you have heard from today. And we come to you this afternoon based upon the administration's recommended budget with a request. And the request is this, that we find ourselves in a situation where our budget is a little bit short. We are forced to make a choice between finding funding for licensing requirements or dealing with personnel issues, releasing some people so that we can have enough funds for licensing requirements. So our request to this committee is to listen to us, ask any questions that you want with us, and when it's all said and done, if you would kindly add us to your wish list for approximately $25,000 or so. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them, or Ms. Steers or Ms. Binkley.
Thank you, Judge. Councilman Stein, you're recognized.
Thank you. You do need to help me understand just a little bit, because when you sent the letter on 5/3, obviously you all didn't know this, because when you answered the questions about the funding reduction, the zero, the programs to be eliminated, and all those things, I assume that this has come to light since you all sent that to us.
Well, that is correct. The actual budget does not call for a cut. So the way the questions are worded, it does not call for a cut in personnel. However, the request was made for approximately $25,000 to fund software licensing fees, maintenance and support fees, which we are contractually obligated to pay. So we do not have a choice but to find that money.
Okay, and all right. So the bottom line is you all asked for an improvement from the mayor, and that didn't take place.
That is correct.
Okay. I have a philosophical question to ask you all, and maybe not philosophical, but a broad question about the operation of JIS, simply because we are under a great deal of pressure to look at everything we do. Why do we need two systems, information systems in the government? What's the rationale for the Justice Information System and the government system, a government IT system?
I have been asked this question by this body several times, and the answer is because JIS is a specialized information technology services agency designed to serve the criminal courts. And we used to do some business and a little bit of business with chancery courts, but we are a specialized operation. We are designed to provide the integrity to the courts for the protection of public records and private records, And we deal with very sensitive information with regard to criminal courts and the public. And when the Justice Information System was created 10 years ago? 15 years ago, it was decided that a segment of the information technology system should be designated to serve the criminal court clerks and the courts as their special agency for information purposes.
And please don't misinterpret my question. This is a tax increase budget proposal, and a new group of folks that may not have been through that question other times. I guess my last follow-up is, this kind of system is basically the kind of system that every decent-sized community in the country uses, basically, give or take a little bit, to handle their stuff if they're using technology?
Yes and no. We have a fully integrated system here in Nashville, and I think I would be correctly stating that it's still one of the most integrated, if not the most integrated system in the country. We take the information from the police department, it filters through all of these systems. They are all supported by GIS, and we do all of the enhancements to the systems in-house. There are no vendors to support these systems. They're all coded in-house here at our office.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Claiborne, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to follow up on the question that Councilman Stan was asking. And I understand your remarks about the importance of integrity in what you do. Within the ITS department, there are different groups that work with different functions in Metro government. For instance, there's a particular group of IT people that only work with the police department and across the board. So why would it be impossible for the IT for the Justice Integration Service function not to operate as a particular department within the Information Technology Department? Why do we need a separate department to do this job?
Yes, go ahead.
That question is one that the answer to which is that the Metro IT system right now is a system that's designed to serve all of Metro. There's no specialization designed in that system to serve the courts, to serve the criminal courts, to serve the police. We have a good relationship with the police department. We serve the district attorney's office. So does IT. IT serves all these other people. But our project or our goals are specialized to deal with the criminal court clerks and the sensitivity of the information involved in all these criminal records, criminal histories, and all those matters that are dealt with in criminal court. That IT is just, as far as I have been able to assess, I'm sure they could do it, but they'd have a lot of catching up to do. As Ms. Steer said, when we first started out, we relied on Unisys to develop a lot of our programs. We have since weaned ourselves from Unisys. We develop all these programs. We code things, we develop programs, especially for the criminal courts and the police department. We work together with the police department. So it's a special relationship. It's not one that I'm not going to sit here and say ITS couldn't do it, but it's one that we've done for the last 15 years, and we've done very well, and we've been very successful at it, and we've saved Metro a lot of money.
I guess my question is, if there was a cost savings involved, given the situation that we're in, is there a reason why the Justice Integration System couldn't be merged into the ITS department as one department rather than operating as two separate departments?
Well, in answer to that, from a cost savings perspective, you would still have all the developers. We have developers that develop all of the code, which ITS does not currently have to do this type of work, I wouldn't imagine. And the equipment is not duplicated. It is all on separate servers for the software that we have, and they would have to remain on those servers in order to uphold the sensitivity. Now, we do work with ITS. We are not on a separate network or anything of that nature. We utilize all of that from ITS.
Okay, I have one other question. On your page E68 of your budget document, you show 133% increase on other expenses. Can you explain something of what those other expenses are that?
I'm sorry, that was E63?
E68.
68.
E68. It's under operating expenses, the last line item, other expenses, and it shows 133.72% increase.
You know, I'm really not sure what that is. That's an increase in the budget from last year to this year?
I think, as I read this document, it shows the percentage of change from FY.
The only,
I think it's federal grant.
it's a grant money.
It's a special purpose fund, and it's grant money.
It is grant money.
Councilman, if you look at the top page, it's
But that's-
special purpose fund.
It's under expenses.
Right, but if you look at the bottom of the page on the revenue, you see the corresponding amount on the revenue side, I believe. The 104,100 matches the federal program revenue.
Okay, so, which is 121% increase.
I can't explain where the revenue is coming from. That's explained.
The only actual increase in the budget was $3,500 for rent.
Do you know where this grant came from, what this grant is from?
Yes, that's a federal grant, I'm sorry, federal grant for CJIS, for software. It's part of the police grant.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Councilman Bednar, you're recognized.
They took the questions out of me. I mean, I was wondering the same thing. I don't know if the question is for you or for Mr. Rivlin. How do we get an idea of how much money we will save if they were to merge with IT?
Councilman, I mean, just in all, I mean, that's not been looked at. I mean, I know that since I've been here, you know, when I got here, the finance department had its own IT function, and we've merged that into the general IT department of the city. I don't think we've actually saved any money by doing that, but I think it's better coordinated and it's consolidated. And we did that because finance had some special functions for accounting purposes and the audit purposes. You have some software needs that other agencies of the government didn't have. And so they had their own, you know, IT staff, which we merged in. I mean, I'd be happy to take a look at that. I can talk to Keith and get Keith and Natalie to talk. Again, I'm not sure if there'd be any direct savings. The question is it better operated that way? That's not for me really to say. That's really for the two IT departments to really talk about. But I'm not sure there'd be a lot of savings associated with that.
Because I see here that the budget is over $2 million, so I was wondering if there is any percentage of that that will be saved in terms of efficiencies. I mean, I don't know. I'm asking you because you guys are.
I mean, we can take a look at it. I mean, the one, you know, you obviously have, you know, director would be one position. Obviously, you don't need two directors, but you do need staff to do the work. So I'm not sure there's going to be a lot of savings, but we'll take a look at it for you.
Thanks.
Council Lady Gilmore, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is, in terms of best practices and comparable to other cities, most cities that, I think Councilman Stein answered this, but I really wasn't clear. Are we comparable? Is this best practices to have a separate system? Or, you know, when we compare ourselves to other cities, did you say we were ahead of most cities because we're integrated? Or how do most cities that are our size and comparable to us function in terms of having this type of system?
Many cities have a public defender system. They have a system for the police department. They have a system for the DA's office, criminal court clerk. Sometimes you'll find one or two of those systems that are integrated. In our case, all of these systems are integrated, and that's what puts us ahead of the rest.
Okay, so we're unique in that we're integrated and other cities are not. They have separate branches. So this is something that we do, but we're a little bit ahead of other cities that are comparable to our size in terms of this.
Yes, ma'am, we are ahead of them.
Okay, so we wouldn't want to do away with it or combine the two in, it sounds like, into ITS. When I say combine it into ITS, you're saying that it's separate and we're leading because we have all the other departments underneath and we can filter and separate the information? Is that what you?
Correct, yes, and I'm talking about the software.
Okay, that's what I'm following up. Okay, then, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Pridemore, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question and kind of like a statement. When integrating these systems, say for instance, if you integrate them with ITS, a lot of the expenses you incur right now are licensing fees. Is that correct? For the programs and updates and that sort of thing?
The applications themselves are built in-house. So the cost to build the applications, to make any enhancements to the applications are all, the cost is just the resources at JIS.
Okay.
But the licensing for the software, the back end, which is Oracle, is an expense, and it is a significant expense. That could not be consolidated with ITS's expense for Oracle, and we have explored that to make sure that that there was nothing that we could do with ITS to save money there, and there is no possibility of consolidation.
Well, that was in other words, regardless if you combine the two departments, they would still have the same fees, still have the same expenses.
Yes, and I want to say, I mean, we have a very good relationship with ITS. We have a very good partnership with them. We work with them to make sure that we are on the same page with them technology-wise and so forth. So I just want to make sure I said that. I work very well with Mr. Durbin.
Well, this is my statement, speaking as one who's being involved with the GIS for quite a while when I was on the police department, 30 years. And prior to this system coming on board, it was very difficult to get the information we needed in a timely manner to where we could do our job, and just on the street level, investigators, police level. So and your system was up and running prior to me leaving, and I can tell you that it was very, very rewarding and very beneficial to us to have that information available for us for safety, for a lot of reasons that really made our police department proactive. And integrating that with the court system really helped also. So I just wanted to make that statement.
Well, thank you,
Thank
Councilor.
you.
We think that in our specialized relationship gives us that edge. I think if you were to dilute that and give it to ITS, that you would not have that edge. They would not have the attention that we give to the criminal courts and the police department and everybody else.
And I would like to add that, as the question of consolidation with ITS has come up, that has been explored in the past. It was explored, I believe, 7 years ago. And some departments IT departments were consolidated with ITS at that time. And as everything was looked at, it was decided that it was not in the best interest of Metro to consolidate JIS with ITS. That has been explored.
Councilman Dominy, you're recognized.
One brief question. I want to channel Councilman Tiger. Do you have any cell phones provided to you or your staff?
I'm sorry. Yes, we do. We have 5 cell phones that are provided. We have 4 people that are on call and a manager that is on call 24/7.
Have you considered the possibility of doing that as a fee or an additional cost? Some of the departments have actually paid a subsidy to the people that have used their private cell phones for that when they're on call, rather than city-provided. What would the expense difference be?
Yes, we have looked at that. Actually, we have 2 people who are being paid a fee, and the others have a Metro-provided cell phone. We could look further into seeing if there's more of a cost savings in providing a fee instead of providing the actual cell phone.
That's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other members in my queue, Judge, Ms. Steers, Ms. Binkley, we sure appreciate you hanging in there with us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We are adjourned.